All right, we're gonna do some box modeling today. This is meant to be a beginner tutorial where, yeah, we practice box modeling. We're gonna go from a reference. This is a reference I found on the internet. So we're gonna go through how to set up image planes and how to start modeling a low poly character with box modeling techniques. We're gonna keep it as simple as possible to try and use as few tools in Maya as possible to get the work done. So this may not be how I would do it typically. But I also like to change things up every time I model to keep it fresh and keep working on stuff. So this, like I said, is an orthographic view I found on the internet of just a really basic generic human character. He's not in the T-pose, his arms are down, so we're gonna model him in T-pose later on. But this is a great reference images. It's got the 3/4 view, the front view, side view, and the back view. It's the front and side view are the most important. Those are the ones that we're going to bring into Maya. So right off the bat, I'm just using my crop tool, and I'm going to crop in a front view of the character, like so. We'll double click that. And then we will do a save as. We're going to save it as a front. You can see I've already got one there. So we're going to keep that one, but I'm just going to Control Z just so I can show you how I do it. And then we're going to crop in and get a side view of a character. Right here, do a save as. Oop, we'll crop it first. And then save it as the side view. Right, and then we'll Control Z and we'll just make sure that we still have that image there. So, oops, we moved it around. That's fine. Okay, so now we have our character here. We're going to go into Maya now and import those images. So right off the bat, we have our default viewport. I reset Maya, so all my preferences are gone. So this is like vanilla opening up Maya. Right off the bat, if we hit spacebar, it'll open up the 4 viewports. So up in here, we have up to the corner, we have the perspective view, which kind of can go any which way. Your camera can look up, down, around 360 degrees around your character. You've got a top view, a front view, and a side view. You can also use these little cubes, these rotation cubes to scale around it. But what we're going to do first, without moving or around inside our viewport at all, we're going to click on this front view, go to View Image Plane, Import Image, and we're going to go to wherever we saved those reference images. We're going to grab our front view, hit Open, and then I'm going to go over here to the side view over here, click on View, and do the same thing, Import Image, but we're going to import our side view. We named them correctly. Here we go. So now we have a front view and a side view imported on those front and side panels here. So I'm going to go back up to my perspective view up here. If I select those images that I brought in and hold down F, it'll focus in on them. But I'm going to hit spacebar so I can zoom in right into it, like so. And we're just going to start modeling here. So here we've got it all matched up, but I want to have it sitting on the grid, not down below it. So I'm going to select both of them, tap W to go to my move tool, grab the yellow arrow here and bring it up so the feet are kind of resting on this grid, which is kind of an imaginary floor. So that works. Then I'm going to select my front view here and go into my front panel by hitting space bar and just make sure that he's lined up. We want him to be perfectly centered. It doesn't matter as much with the side view, so we'll leave that where it is. And then we're going to start modeling. So we're going to box model today. Normally I would do some different things to round out the shapes and get it less boxy, but I want to keep this as simple as possible. So up here in the Create tab, we're going to hit Create. We're going to go down to Polygon Primitives, select a cube. We're going to bring that up where the head is and start lining that up. Now you notice the problem is these images are in my way. They're kind of really annoying to be able to model this head with these in the way. So I'm just going to grab the side view, grab this red pivot point, move it out of my way over here. It'll still be useful. And the same with the front view. We're going to scooch it on down there so that now I can still have full range to grab my cube. But here in the front and side view, they still match up. Now, the other thing you'll notice here really quick, this is the front view, is now that I have a cube, it is in my way. I want to be able to, see that. see through the cube. So over here, up right above the cube, I'm going to scroll my mouse right up here. You'll see this little, looks like two pieces of paper over each other. It's the X-ray mode. We're going to click on that. Now it's made that cube transparent so I can see through it. And now I can start adjusting it. And so right now, what I like to do is just take that cube and get as close to this head shape as I can. I'm going into vertex mode now. So if I hold down right button over my object, so it's in object mode, you can see I have object mode, edge mode, and vertex mode and face mode I can go into just by holding right click on after my object is selected. So if I go into edge mode, it'll highlight the edges when I go around the object. If I go into vertex mode, it will highlight the vertices or the points on the corners of that cube. If I go into face mode, it'll select an entire polygonal face. But we're going to go into vertex mode here. And one of the things I want to point out right now, right off the bat, is if I start moving one side of this, it doesn't move on this other side, and I really want it to. So I'm going to hit Control Z and go back. So the first thing I'm going to do, the first tool I'm going to introduce you to is the split polygon tool. So I'm going to go back into object mode and go into edge mode. I'm going to select this top edge here, hold down Control, right click, and go to edge ring utilities and split this in half. And I'm going to show you another way to do this too. If I just Controlled Z to get out of it. I select that edge here, this edge on the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. Now I can go to mesh tools, and I'm sure it's here somewhere. You've got the edge loop tools, your other tools, edit mesh. We can go to that edge loop and spline. We're going to do it the way we did before. Okay, we're going to hold down Control, right click, edge ring utilities, to the edge ring and split. And now we've just created an edge loop down the middle of this block because we want to make it mirror to the other side. So what I'm going to do now, right off the bat, is I'm just going to select all the faces. I just marquee select the one side of this box now, and I'm going to hit delete. My pivot is centered, I know that. So now I'm going to duplicate and make an instance. So with this object selected, I'm going to go clear up here to the left, go to edit, duplicate select, but I'm going to click on the little box so I have these options in here. And we don't want it to copy. We don't want to make a copy. We want to make an instance so that anything we do to this box, it does to the other side. Make it easy. And we're going to go to scale on negative, hit apply and close. And you can see it created the negative scaled box on the other side. So now if I now go in and select any of these vertices, it is going to mirror to the other side, which makes my life easier with modeling this head right here, right? So now I can grab these corners, marquee over those two vertices, and bring them up into position and start making this head shape as close as I can to the actual head. And on this one, I'm going to have to do the same here. I'm going to have to go to X-ray mode and do the same thing here. Now I can grab these edges and kind of put them where I think they belong on this head that matches up as closely as possible to where this head shape would be. And even on these front and sides, we want it to be kind of rounded. So we'll do this. So every time we add an edge loop, we want to adjust it as much as we can. There we go. There is just the lowest poly head ever so far. But this is not quite good enough. We want to at least get it a little bit further before we move on to the torso. Now our goal here is to do this in 1,000 triangles or less. So if we want to see what those look like, we can actually go up here to display, heads up display, and we've got a poly count on here. We click on poly count, it'll actually show me. So far this head is 20 triangles. So we've only got 1,000 for the whole model. So we've got to be careful here. So here we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to add some edge loops here. Do that same thing we did. We could do the hold down Control to edge ring and split. I really like it. It's one of my favorite tools to use that. And then we'll show you the next way in just a second. But now that we've added this edge loop on this side, now look at this. We can grab these vertices, pull them up, and we can start making this head shape a little bit more accurate to the reference image. There we go. And let's look at it from the side. Doesn't really matter as much yet, except for right here. That's the side of the head. So we're going to leave that for just a second. There we go. So we're starting to get this thing to feel kind of like a head. Let's adjust. Go. All right, getting close. Let's add one more edge loop here. But to do this one, we're going to go to Edit Mesh, or Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. This one right here. This will allow us to drag along any edge and create an edge loop wherever we want to drop it. We'll drop it right there, go into these views again. And now this should put us to work for a few minutes. Just getting this head to the best cranial shape we can do. I'm going to play around with some of these edges here. Now the front of the face can kind of start to feel more like a motorcycle helmet instead of what it was looking like. I think we may even want this piece kind of at the base of the head, maybe. See how it works. And the neck is going to come down through here. Let's see how she looks. Side view probably needs a little love. Yeah, see, it's really boxy on the side. Start messing with these a little bit. Chin up. Thing is taller on the top. Let's look around from all different corners. So you can see like this is just flat on the side. I actually want to move some of this stuff in the back of the head here. Now it's kind of starting to look like the face we want. All right. Now we're starting to get the head up there, which that'll work. This is something I did in class. We could start with just a clean box for the bottom, but now we have the side of the head done. We are just going to Control D and move this side of the head down. And let's look at the side view. We're going to match this up as close as we can to the torso because it's kind of got a torso shape to it, which is nice. Look at that. That head kind of mimics this shape from the torso. So we can reuse this. We can reuse this wholesale. So let's do this. Let's move this guy over here to the bottom of the rib cage. Here's the pectoral muscles here. You notice how a lot of parts in the human body, they just kind of all repeat themselves quite a bit. That one over there. Here we go. This one is going down the middle of the body from the arms to keep it all light, clean. That is feeling pretty good. Let's see how this looks from the front view. Probably needs a little love. Here we go. Not too bad. Move that over. This is where the arm will fit in just a minute. All right, still really boxy, so we're going to grab some of these and slide them in just a little bit. I'm probably going to add a loop right here in a little bit, but we'll leave it for now. Round out that front of the shape. But already we're starting to block out this this character pretty darn quick. So we can actually just grab this piece now and hit Edit, Duplicate Special, and it'll repeat. It has our settings saved from the side view and everything else. So now we've got a head and a torso created pretty quick. We are going to now extrude this side of the body down. We're going to hold down Shift. It goes into extrude mode. We can grab this green arrow and just pull it down. So this will go right down to the torso here. Try to use as few tools as we can. So we just introduced the extrude tool. Super handy. The thing the extrude does create a face in the middle of the object. So if I actually select that one side, hit Shift H or Shift I, sorry, Shift I isolates that object so you can see only that object. And so I can go in and delete these interior faces right here that it created when I extruded. I'll hit delete on those. And then not selecting any objects at all, we can hit Shift I again to remove that isolate selected. Now we can go into that front and side view and make sure that this matches where we want it to. I think I'm going to bring this one all the way down to here. This will be the crotch area, for lack of better words. Move this side over. This will be where the hip comes up, and we'll have the leg attach right there eventually. We're going to do another edge loop down the middle that will add more space in between the legs here in just a second, but we're going to take this as far as we can first. We're going to move that down a little bit. We're going to add an edge loop right here in the middle. Split it right there. Slide this piece up and get the hips in a little bit. That is going pretty good for low poly. And like I said, we can always remove polygons later as well. So I feel like we're really getting too much, we can always remove, but we're trying to model as efficiently as we can at the moment to get the silhouette of the character down. So not looking too bad so far. Okay, we are now going to add another piece here. We're going to add, what I might try to do. I may not want to add one here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something crazy here. I'm actually going to move this piece down to add that extra space that we talked about in the cod piece area. Slide that up. Try this out. We'll see if this works. A little bit different than I did in class, but I think this is going to work. Okay, so let's move this over. Okay, let's add another edge loop. Now this is going to be the first part. We had a lot of questions in class, so I only made it. I actually didn't even make it this far. We just added another edge loop, by the way. So let's leave that there. Let's see how it's looking. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's see how it looks from the side. All right. So that way I had enough geometry to create the butt area here. So here's that cod piece area here. I said, for lack of a better term, and we can use this to tighten in the back here. We got the S curve in the back. We could use another loop here, but we're going to wait and see what we can afford later, because we are already up to 126 triangles and we still want to add more to this. So right now we have the head and the body pretty much blocked out. Pelvis, Tofen-Den. How are you doing, Tofen-Den? Wolverine, how are you doing? Thank you, Tofen-Den. Yes, the pelvis. That's a much better word for it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to soften up some of these UVs. So if I go up in here under mesh display, we can say soften edge. Just make it look, the whole thing look softer. Or you can harden the edges just to show you. Make it look more polygon-like. You can harden it or soften it. I like to have them either or, so we'll leave it hard for the moment. You can see, not too bad. Starting to get a block out. So now I want to keep this as box model-y as possible. So traditionally what you would do is take like this part of the arm to start modeling the arms out, right? You hold down shift and you extrude and you would start with the arm like that. So the problem with this method, and this is where we're going to switch from using boxes to going to cylinders. The problem with this method in my mind is that now I have to take this and make it round, which is a total pain in the rear. So I think what we're going to actually do is we're going to do a little bit of a block out for a moment. We're going to block out some of these shapes. So it's still box modeling. We're still starting with a cube. But the legs are cylinders. The arms are cylinders. We're dealing with a lot of cylinders. We're going to save this in that same folder. Get in the habit of saving often. So Control S is your best friend. This is low poly demo _01. Save it as revisions. Wolverine says, "Is this Blender?" This is Maya, Autodesk Maya. So let's create ourselves some polygon primitives. So we're going to create a cylinder. So if you look at this cylinder right here, I'm going to bring it up. This cylinder itself is 80 triangles. How was it only 80? I don't know. But it's way too many. So we are going to lower it down a little bit. In fact, we're going to lower it down a lot. We're going to start with 6 and then go from there. But I think we're actually going to do maybe 5. Because we want this character to be really low poly. The legs could maybe even get away with 6. I find that 5 is really, or 4 is really boxy. 5 is the next closest where it'll actually start to look round again. 6 is symmetrical, so maybe we'll leave it at 6 and then we'll lower it later as we go. The problem with anything less than that is I can't mirror it. We want to be able to mirror this, so we'll leave it at 6. Turn it so it's straight, and this is going to be the start of all of our legs, arms, and neck. So we don't need the caps on this, so I'm going to go into face mode. We're just going to do this nice and slow. Select the tops and bottoms of it. Hit delete. Okay, so let's grab this cylinder here. And we're going to put it into place where the neck is, right here. If I hold down X, I can snap it to the grid so it's symmetrical already. And we're just going to scale this in. We're going to start blocking out some arms and legs just to get this thing really fast, done really quick. So here we have the neck from the front and side. I'm going to squeeze it in there. Before I really adjust this, I'm going to duplicate one of these because we're going to use this for the arm or the leg. And we'll just slide it back there. You notice from the front, this is pretty accurate. From the side, not so much. This thing is going to have to kind of curve up here and back here. We're going to kind of make the shape we want, and then we will delete and remove as necessary. Let's do this. Squeeze that in. That's where the neck is kind of going there. That looks pretty good. Let's see if we still look good from the front. And we do. Super interesting. This neck keeps its shape really well. I should stretch it out a little bit like that. May have messed the middle of it up. No, it's okay. Right. Oh, because we didn't mirror it. Looks kind of twisted though. What did I do? It looks fine. Fair enough. No, something's wrong. I messed it up with the side view. Gotta fix it. I think I wasn't grabbing the whole thing. There we go. Stretch this, that. I'm gonna match it up as close as we can. This down. One out. Feeling better. I said this one. Let's just grab the whole thing and this. That'll work. That'll do, I think. Oh, I keep forgetting that this is not instanced. That's the problem. I keep moving one side, not both. Can't do that. Oh, shoot. It's because of the... I know what's wrong, guys. Because I rotated it a little bit. We messed it up. Okay, so we're going to freeze the trans frames. Yeah, we got it. We know what to do. We know what to do now. There we go. Now it works. Perfect. Perfect. We fixed our mistake. Should be good now. Okay, there we go. Hit Control S. So this is going to be part 1. So we're going to take it just a little bit further and then save this. But we blocked out the neck. Let's block out a leg too. Side view here. I'm going to freeze the transformations on this. Don't have issues with our rotate or our scale tool. Let's move this to where we think it should go for the thighs. It'll be all the way down to the knee. We're going to do these all separate and then we'll merge them later. Sometimes it's easier to chop up components a little bit. Front view, here we go. Move you into position. All right, and it's starting to look like a character. Let's take this one, Control D, copy it, we'll move it down to the foot here. Do that same thing, move it to the bottom of the knee. And on both of these, I'm going to add an edge loop where the calf muscle is, but I'm going to line them up first. The front and the side. Go. Easy peasy. Now we're going to add an edge loop here. So we'll do this for both of them. Edit mesh tools, insert edge loop. Got one here. We'll add one up here. Rotate it, scale it this way until we get it kind of matching pretty close. We got it from this side. If you look at it from this side, it doesn't quite work as well. We're gonna just grab these and move. Go. From this one, same kind of a thing. That up. Got it from the side, it looks just fine. Only issue it has is kind of need another one right here. And we'll add it in now and we can always take it out later. One of the things I'm going to work on between now and my next video is getting key mapping to my computer, so it shows which keys I am pressing. And this one just stays the same. Okay. Now you can see his legs blocked out. Starting to look like a person a little bit. And now we need to work on the arms. So I'm just going to Control D, grab this arm from the leg. We're just going to borrow pieces. Like Frankenstein monster here. And then I can just double click these edges I clicked, those loops I created, and just delete them. Go to the side view again with the arm. You can't see the arm from the side view, so we'll have to guesstimate this one, which is fine. Mouse is active. Got it from the front. And the shoulder is more of like a ball shape, so we're going to kind of ignore it for a minute. Actually, the way I'm going to do this is the bicep. Be just one piece here. And then what I'd like to do, I wish I had more of a side view, but we'll just guesstimate it a little bit, because actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up bringing the arm up into A pose. It's probably just as well that I don't have a side view going down, because my biggest thing is I just need to know the proper length of the arm. And then we can actually use the top-down view to help us with some, or one of the other views to help us with some of the other stuff. In fact, just for the heck of it, I'm going to import my reference so I can see a little bit more of the side view for the arm. A little bit. So I can take that reference and we'll just slide it back here so I can use it as a guide just to look at while I'm modeling it. See right here, the arm comes down and moves forward a little bit. Don't have a really good side view of the arm, which is a bummer. It'd be really nice to have. It would really help answer some questions. But we'll be okay without it. We kind of know what the bicep should look like. So let's do a little bit more block out here. I'm going to duplicate that, bring it down, go to the front view here. We go to modify center pivot. It'll center out the pivot again on this object. So this forearm piece. And what we could do, just for the sake of today, so we can get the whole thing kind of blocked out, is we'll just add cubes for like the feet. Now we're going to go to insert edge loop tool here, using the hotkeys. Could use it, grab it from up above. We're just going to grab it from. Start blocking this forearm out, and now we can just look at it from here. Say, okay, where would this connect? I think it would come forward just a little bit. Whole thing back to where the connected. Leave that like that. The starting point. And what we might do, you know what, just to make this easy, we're just going to grab the edge loop. We're going to hold down, double click on these top edges, hold down shift. We can extrude it up and rotate it, and this will become the shoulder. Look at it from the front view, and we'll just bend the shoulder kind of in, create a shoulder. Now, change it again in a minute. Extrude it again, rotate it, and we'll be bringing this arm up, but I just want to make it look so it matches the reference image as close as we can before we end this first part of the lesson. And this we can completely change. In fact, we will change it frequently. I want the traps to come up a little higher here. All right, so we're starting to get this whole character blocked out. Turbo99, how's it going? Okay, so let's block out a foot too. Let's just grab another cube here. Click the cube key on there. Let's pop this Johan in here. We'll just block out a foot really quick. Go bring it up. Foot's going to be really fun to model. Down to the side. Up. It's just as simple as possible. Yeah, that looks in 3D. Super, super blocky, but it works so far. We just want the whole character blocked out today so we can come back to it later. Let's do the same thing with the hand here. Scale this down. And we'll add geometry later. We're using as many boxes as we can. And I think on the next version, what we'll probably end up doing is sewing it all together. Let's do this. Bring it up where we think it goes. This front view. Eventually we'll add. We'll have to decide. We have 1,000 tries. We'll have to decide, do we want a full hand or do we want just a piece of one? Or like a mitt, like an oven mitt to save triangles. But we'll have to end up deciding on this. For now, that's our paddle hand there. Okay, so for the most part, we've got this whole character blocked out. Everything is blocked out for this low poly character. I'm going to select each of these objects that aren't mirrored to the other side, just so we can get a view of the whole thing. I'm going to hit Control Save to save it. But I'm going to go now, select all these objects. They're all P cylinders. We're going to go Modify. Sorry, we're going to go to Mesh, Combine. And we're going to combine all these into one single mesh. We have the pivot point that's clear up here. I want to put it on 0, 0. So I'm going to hold down D and then hold down X. And with my middle mouse drag, I can snap this pivot to anywhere on the grid that I want. And we're going to snap it right here at 0, 0, 0. We're going to go up, Modify, Freeze Transformations. So it's 0, 0, 0. Now we can go back to our Edit, Duplicate Special, and we can mirror it right over. So there is our generic character. So what we can do is when we come back is we can fix a lot of stuff. We can still edit this as if it was one piece. We can separate it. What I like to teach is that there's nothing in 3D that you can do that you can't undo. So a lot of times the process is adding edges, removing edges, like deciding what works better. And I think as an artist, what you want to do is not 100% follow tutorials. At least maybe at the beginning it's okay, but eventually you want to start solving all these problems yourself, so that you can just have an idea at any time how something should look. Because if you just follow tutorials, when you get stuck or something doesn't look right, you just don't know how to solve a problem. So it's all about becoming a problem solver, really. Like the heel part, this would definitely come in further. So with this one, you start making this look more and more like a foot. Right now, it's not looking very good. Not looking very footy. Get it looking a little bit more. Eventually, we'll have to cut in the toes. But you know, maybe if they're boots, that might be close to good enough. So that's it. That is it so far. We'll do a part 2. We'll keep working on this. We want to get to 1,000 triangles. Right now, we're only cooking at, we've only got 488 tries. So we've used half of our allotted try count, which means we have a lot more. There's a lot more we can do with this model to finish it up. Obviously, he needs hip joints. We need to connect all this together. So he has knees are connected, the feet are connected. That's what we're going to do next live stream, is connect all this together and really start getting more fine detailed in this to get as much detail as we can in under 1,000 triangles. That's the goal with low poly art, is to keep it low but make it look like a real character as much as possible. It's like this shoulder needs to go into the pectoral muscles. But overall, not too shabby. I'm happy with it so far.